When most people hear the word addiction, they picture a substance. Bottles, pills, needles. Something you can hold in your hand. Something you can ban, pour out, flush, or detox from. But if you've ever lost whole nights to a game, chased losses in a betting app, or felt your brain buzzing for the next scroll, you already know something doesn't add up. You can feel addicted without a single chemical in your bloodstream. So what is that? Is it a real addiction? Or is it a lack of discipline with a little extra guilt layered on top? If we haven't met yet, I'm Phil Shea. I'm an addictions counselor, and my work focuses on gambling, gaming, and the quieter forms of addiction that don't always look dramatic from the outside. In this video, I want to untangle two things that get mixed up constantly, and when they do, people end up gaslighting themselves. The difference between chemical addiction and behavioral addiction, and the difference between addiction and dependence. If you don't have those straight, it becomes very easy to say things like, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe this isn't real addiction. Other people handled this fine. Why can't I? So let's slow that down and sort it out. Here is the simplest version. Dependence is your body getting used to a substance. Addiction is your life starting to orbit around something. Pretty straightforward, right? Those are related, but they're not the same. You can be dependent without being addicted, and you can be addicted without physically being dependent. For example, if someone takes opioids every day for pain, their body adapts. If they suddenly stop, they can go into withdrawals, sweating, shaking, nausea, cramps. That's dependence, because their nervous system has adjusted to the chemical being there. Now, picture someone who only drinks on weekends. No shakes, no morning cravings, but they think about Friday all week. They can't imagine relaxing or socializing without alcohol. The relationship and work are slowly slipping, but nothing looks dramatic enough to count. That's addiction beginning to form, even if physical dependence isn't obvious yet. Now, flip it. With gaming, gambling, porn, or scrolling, you don't pull a chemical out of your bloodstream when you stop. You don't vomit from missing TikTok. But you do feel the itch, the restlessness and irritability. That flat, gray feeling like life has lost its color. That's psychological withdrawal. Same circuitry, different costume. This is where people get confused and minimize what they're dealing with. They think, if I'm not shaking or puking, it can't be that serious. But the brain doesn't care whether dopamine came from a substance or a screen. The learning mechanism is the same. Your brain tracks patterns that reliably reduce comfort or increase pleasure. When it finds something that works fast, it holds on, hard, which is why we see behavioral addictions to gambling, gaming, pornography, social media, shopping, food, media, even exercise. Different behaviors, same loop. The loop looks like this. Discomfort shows up. Stress, boredom, loneliness, emptiness, anxiety. You reach for things. Your state changes. You become relaxed. You're excited. You feel numb or focused. The brain flags it as important, and if you repeat that enough times, it becomes the default solution. Eventually, it's more about regulation than it is about enjoyment or fun. So, as opposed to what people commonly think, that behavioral addiction is loving something too much, it's actually about needing to feel okay, getting back to neutral. Quick pause here. If you're listening to this and think this is uncomfortably accurate, and you want help figuring out where you land and what to do next, I offer a free 15-minute clarity call. We look at what role the behavior is actually playing in your life and what a realistic next step would be. No pressure, no commitments, just direction, just a little chat. There's a link below if you want that. All right, back to the distinction. On the surface, chemical and behavioral addictions look different. With substances, you ingest something that directly alters brain chemistry. Alcohol, nicotine, opioids, etc. The chemical does a lot of the heavy lifting. With behaviors, nothing foreign enters your bloodstream, but your brain still lights up. Because the drug isn't the object, it's the pattern. Anticipation, risk, novelty, and control. The hit of being chosen, winning, leveling up, matching, and getting a notification. This is why gambling and gaming sit right at the center of behavioral addiction. They're basically software designed to plug directly into your rewards circuitry. That's where these things really get fumbled. We still live in a culture that treats these things very differently. Gamblers get told to just set a budget, Gamers get told to just log off. Porn users get told to just stop watching. Phone addicts get told to just put it down. If you've tried to just do any of those, you already know how useless that advice is. Behavioral addictions are easy to minimize because they're normalized and monetized legally. Gambling ads are baked into sports, games are marketed as harmless fun, porn is framed as normal stress relief, and social media is how you stay connected. Hell, workaholism is praised until you burn out. All of them are avoiding the problems in their life to feel fulfilled or to do what we're told will make us better people, or at least make us feel so. So when you start losing control, there is an extra layer of shame. How can I be addicted to something everyone else handles fine? This can't be a real problem because it doesn't involve substances. Then you start thinking, why can't I just stop? You start believing the problem must be you. Not the design, not the function it's serving, not the emotional load you're carrying, not even the alienation and isolation you feel from those around you. Like you're struggling just to catch up while others appear to have it on easy street. So let's name some common behavioral addictions people quietly struggle with. Obviously, the ones we've mentioned: gambling, video games, porn, and compulsive sexual behavior, sure. But also social media and scrolling, dating apps, shopping and spending, food, work and productivity. That last one, honestly, really flies under the radar. Everyone will think it's perfectly fine and that you're an upstanding person in society, though your family might be wondering where you've been. At first, these things help. Gambling brings excitement and hope. Games give structure, progress, and escape. Porn gives a release and distraction. Social media even gives connection and attention, while work can give you identity and worth, not to mention income, the most important thing. Then the gravitational pull of these behaviors reverses. The things you have used in the past to cope start creating problems. Debt, shame, isolation, health issues, ruined relationships, and wrecked sleep. You lean on it harder to deal with the fallout, which only makes it worse. That's addiction. Not defined by the object, but defined by the relationship. Here is one last important distinction. Chemical addictions usually show themselves faster. Your body complains loudly. Your life throws obvious red flags. Behavioral addictions can hide inside functional life for a long time. You can hold a job and still gamble every night. You can be in a relationship and still escape into porn daily. You can hit deadlines and still game until sunrise. From the outside, it looks fine enough, but from the inside, it feels trapped. And because there's no bottle on the table, you can continue telling yourself it doesn't count. But it does. If your life is bending and warping around accommodating something, if you keep going back even when you're sick of yourself, if the thing you use to cope is eating your time, money, relationships, and self-respect, that's worth taking seriously. Whether it's a bottle, a betting app, a loot box, or a browser tab, it has nothing to do with weakness. It's more to do with the fact that your brain found a powerful way to escape, soothe, and feel in control in a world that often doesn't give you many of those options. Recovery isn't about ripping away comfort and demanding willpower. It's about understanding what the behavior has been doing for you and then rebuilding those needs in ways that won't slowly hollow you out. More real connection instead of just notifications, grounded progress instead of endless chasing, and options for regulating your nervous system that don't come with a bill attached. If you're watching this wondering where you land, that's already information. You don't need to hit rock bottom. That's a myth. You don't need to don a new label or identity. You don't need to justify your pain. Simply put, if you're feeling stuck, that's enough. If you want help untangling this, that free clarity call link is below. Again, with no judgment, no forced labels, just calm, supportive direction. Thanks for taking yourself seriously enough to watch this far. I'm Phil Shea, Addictions Counselor. Have a great day.